Phonic and freaking McKinnon need to see the field a lot more.
Oh, they got rid of Madden and look where they're at now, huh? I guess that wasn't the problem.
The hitting instructors still have their job. That to me is the biggest question. Why do they still have their fucking job?
And all I want to say is,
It's the Todd Fox Postgame Podcast with your host, Todd Fox.
Hey, welcome into another episode of the Todd Fox Postgame Show here back with on the Heedy Baseball Network. Just want to get into a few things here today. I'm going to start off with my opening banter, just recapping the game, and then also giving you my opinions on something that's been very, very frustrating with the Angels so far. So with today's game, they lose 6-3 up in Seattle. Earn a split with the Mariners, who will win. I think they're 63rd or however many games they got right now. They're not 63rd. I think 59th or something like that. They're pretty close to 60 wins. The Angels, 3 runs on 8 hits. Mariners, 6 runs. 59-51. Angels fall to 46-63, 17 games under. They are now 22-50 in their last 72 ball games, that being the Angels. Gonzalez gets the win, 7-11. Davidson falls to 1-3. Sewald gets his 14th save. Ward went 1 for 4. Ohtani went 1 for 4. Renifo went 1 for 4. Adele went 2 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Stassi went 1 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Fletcher had 3 RBIs, 1 for 4, sacrifice, and a 2-run single, I believe. Sierra went 0 for 4. Goslin went 1 for 3. Rojas struck out. I'll get to him in a minute. Velasquez 0 for 1. He should be 0 for 95. Let's see. Also, Davidson went 4 innings in his Angels debut. What a trade that was. 6 earned runs, 6 hits allowed, 6 runs allowed, 5 walks, 1. He gave up that grand slam. He balloons his ERA to 7. And the rest of the bullpen did good. Herget, Wantz, and Chavez closed it out for the Angels. Moniak is still on the listed still on the bench, but obviously he had the fractured finger, so look for him to miss some time, as he did pretty good in his Angels debut as far as playing time. He was on the squad. Suzuki is on the bench, obviously, with a 2 average. If you want to talk about who got the game ball today for the Mariners, that would be Winker. Winker had the big grand slam. He had that was the only play. He got thrown out at home, but Winker gets a John Stamos Award. Again, we're waiting on those transitions. We should have those here soon. And if you want to look for who got Nacho Night, I'm going to give it to another Angel again. And I'm going to give it to a guy who is just not producing at all. And that is, once again, it's going to be a combined effort, even though they only had one at bat each, and that's Velasquez and Walsh. Those guys just can't hit the broadside of a barn. They stink right now. They're trash right now. What I'm going to get into on here real quick is I'm going to talk about what I would do if I was the general manager of this ball club. If I had to make coaching decisions of this ball club, if I was coach maybe and had a pretty good idea on general manager, what I would do is this. Right off the bat, it starts and ends with attitude adjustment. The Angels don't have any kind of attitude, any kind of winning personality. It's just business as usual. Let's go out there and play. Whatever happens, happens. There's no in-game adjustments. There's no you see dumbass Reed carrying around a pink notebook. He's writing shit down, but what's he writing down? He's not helping any of these batters to do anything in the box. Serrano is just rocking back and forth. Can't wait to touch them nachos. He can't decide whether he wants pollo or asada on those nachos, whether he wants a blue helmet or a red helmet. That's his big way of thinking when it comes to Angels baseball. The problem I have with this team is the attitude. There's no accountability. There's no take charge. There's no leadership. There's no, hey, we got to get shit done. There's no one throwing shit. Again, the guy who threw sunflower seeds and was pissed off got traded. Anybody with any kind of personality, we don't want you here. Joe Madden preached that bullshit. And if anybody goes back, especially the Halo, goes back and says, hey, you know what? It's not Joe Madden's fault. Look, we're still losing. He started this mess. These are his guys. And then at one point I was thinking Perry Manassian's not at fault. I was thinking at one point Perry Manassian's not a guy who should take the brunt of this bullshit. But then I was thinking, no, you brought back the same loser players you had on this squad last year. Yes, Jose Rojas is a nice story. But can he hit? No. He's batting 100. Okay, Kurt Suzuki came back for another year last year. Is he almost done? Yeah. You brought him back again when he was already past his prime. Captain Jack showed you just about what he could last year, and that's about it. You brought him back. Phil Gosselin. Goose was loose for a couple weeks last year, but he showed you he was done. You brought him back. You have, let's see, Max Stassi, your number one. You keep him in there and you don't have a fallback. You get O'Hoppe, but he ain't going to be ready for 2 years. You look at the shortstop position. It's clear Velasquez couldn't hit in New York. If he can't hit with the Yankees hitting instructors, what's going to tell you guys like Joey Gallo and other players that have gone to New York and they can't fix their swings? Why is it going to be any different here with our two piece of shit hitting instructors? You really think Velasquez is going to play good? He has 90 strikeouts and only 47 hits being Velasquez. And you continue to run his piece of shit like garbage ass playing out there because you think he's going to save runs. I would rather have guys who can potentially hit like Captain Jack, like Gosselin play shortstop. If you must love them so much, why aren't they out there trying to make plays? I don't care if they make errors. Hell, in a doubleheader, Fletcher's been out most of the season. I think we can all agree to that. Yet Fletcher does not play a doubleheader where you have 2 hours off in between games. He's clearly a better at bat than freaking Velasquez. And I don't care if he doesn't have the range. I don't care if he doesn't have the arm. This would be fine. Just look at the Houston Astros. They have 8 solid players. Before they made that trade with Boston to get a really good catcher to back up Maldonado or to start over Maldonado, they can afford to have a pitcher basically in your lineup in Maldonado who doesn't do him much damage at all, hitting-wise. They could afford that. But the Angels can't. They can't afford an easy out. They already have too many other easy outs in the lineup. And you mean to tell me Renifo's the answer long term? He's another good guy out there, another retread. This team, as creative as they were in the draft with getting all kinds of pitchers, and again, I go back to Perry and say, you know what? As far as pitching, the amount of guys who've come up through the system, I give you an A+ in drafting last season. It's up in the air about this season. We don't know what those players are going to be. But last season, I give them an A+ as far as drafting those pitchers because a lot of them are getting really close to making major league starts, and they've come up here and they've done a good job when they have pitched. They just haven't gotten the W's. The rotation has filled out nicely at times. Even with Syndergaard, taking a risk on Syndergaard. Syndergaard did his job here. If you look at it, wins and losses didn't pan out, but his ERA did. He had a couple, bad starts, but every pitcher does, right? Pitching-wise, I really can't complain with Manassian until it came to the trade deadline. And he waited too much on Syndergaard. He waited to the last minute to try to offer a trade to one of these teams. He had his heart set on one of those Toronto catchers. He should have been scouting somewhere else. And when you look at our lineup and you have a guy like Rendon, $252 million, you don't necessarily need a third baseman making that much money. You can go to a team like Kansas City, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, every other fucking team in this league can do that. Colorado, Arizona, make a trade with a lesser team to where you don't have to get a player that is involved in so much money at one of your corners. So you can hypothetically lose a first baseman like Walsh or trade a guy like Walsh because he's fallen off. I wouldn't have, and I wouldn't have done the Marsh deal either, only because we don't know what the new hitting instructors are going to get this team to do. Keep in mind, we've had no batting practice. Manassian, you have failed as a leader, as a general manager, to come down hard on the simple things such as Madden and Nevin's refusal to have batting practice at all. To show that, hey, you know what? I'm in charge here. I may be the general manager, but fuck, you're my guy. You got to listen, man. Get these players' lazy asses on the field and start having them hit. I have no respect for any of these players like Shohei Ohtani, who comes out there and says, I don't need batting practice. I don't take batting practice. The fuck you do? You're under contract with me. You're going to fucking take it. Trout, get your ass out there and hit some batting practice. Because obviously what you're doing all the way down the list is not working. Why isn't there that mentality to this team? It starts and ends with the owner. We've got that. But I put this one on Perry Manassian. Now I'm falling into line with some of the Angel fans that are saying Perry Manassian's behind this shit. And I think at some point you can see in any other organization, a general manager at some point in time will take advantage or put his stamp on this team, not just with the players he brings in, but the mentality and the culture that he wants. I've heard Perry Manassian says, I want an Angel way. Well, your Angel way is fucking stupid right now. We baby our players when they want a day off before a day off. We don't pitch guys back to back. We have shitty ass squid come out there every goddamn game and do nothing and then just shake our head like, well, I don't know what happened. And then you have our announcers who, again, I love Gooby to death. And he's so much positivity. I like his positivity because he can actually talk about stuff that could happen in a way that's different from Roger Lodge's toxic positivity. I don't like Patrick O'Neill, the way he comes out there and everything's got to be a home run. We don't talk about let's get guys on base. The only one that does that is Gooby and Langston. Everybody else is home run, home run, home run, home run. This offense is pathetic, and if anybody thinks that what they're doing is going to get us back on track, it's stupid. So I would start there right away with the culture. The culture has to change right away. The attitude adjustment. And then what about that cliche? You put in the work, you get results. Again, Gooby was on here about a few weeks ago and said that this team is working hard every day on their hitting. Bullshit meter went off the record, off the scale. That is such a lie. Because if that were the case, you would see results. Maybe not with all these retreads that I talked about, Gosselin, Suzuki, all these other players that suck ass. You're not going to see results with them because obviously they suck. But you would see results with them at least making contact maybe and maybe getting bunts down if they worked on it. But no. We haven't seen results. Not even with the starters. Stassi's still Stassi striking out when he should know the strike zone. Walsh is still not looking at anything that hit on the outside part of the plate. He's still swinging over he swings over every fastball and wonders why he grounds weakly into the shift. Ohtani's still not going to left center, and when he does, he has 3 or 4 good at bats, but then he forgets how to hit, and he's pulling everything the next night into the shift. Trout's back's probably hurting from striking out so much and swinging at every goddamn pitch. Nobody has corrected any of these ball players from the start to finish. And you look at what Fletcher has done from last year under this regime, where everybody was laughing and I was laughing. He was swinging at stuff above his head. He was swinging wildly like you would see kids do in Little League. And then this year, you just look at his at bat in the 9th inning tonight or 8th inning, whatever. I think it was the 9th inning. where he was just like fouling pitches off. He had a great at bat. He got out, but he had a great at bat. Saw like 11 pitches. Why isn't he back in the leadoff spot? He's clearly not like how he was last year in the 9th spot because he's so weak. Why is he now relegated to basically not a leadoff guy, number 6, number 7 down the order? He's the only one producing right now. And why do you think he's got better at bats? He spent nearly 3 weeks down in AAA with Brian Betancourt, who is the AAA Salt Lake Bees hitting instructor. When your minor league coaches are better than your major league coaches, you have a problem. Again, I've said it multiple times on this page and multiple times on any other podcast that we've done. When have you ever seen on Bally Sports or any other Angel page, Angels Weekly, a post anywhere, anyone's ever posted a link about how the Angels players are raving over Jeremy Reed and Paul Sereno's ability to help them out? Please share that link with me. I've never seen it. I can go back to the LA Times talking about the Angels players, Jim Edmonds, Tim Salmon, Garrett Anderson, Darren Erstad, loving Rod Carew's help with them and their swings early in their career. Don Baylor's, Mickey Hatcher's. I've heard about all that. I've heard about all those guys helping them resurrect their swings, help them get better in the box, be more patient, be more aggressive, tweak things to where now they're power hitters or they're singles hitters. Their on-base percentage gets. I've heard the praise about those coaches. I have never heard it from Sereno and Reed. And these are jackasses that have almost put in a decade on this fucking franchise. They've ruined several of our hitters this year. And Artie's dumbass still is doing nothing about it. He's worried about his legal issues. And Perry Manassian, who probably has the control to press the button and eject those dumbasses from this organization, refuses to do so. I would have loved for them to have gotten fired on August 1st. And then you give 2 months to an interim coach, whether it's Betancourt from AAA or somebody else with a fucking brain. And maybe one of those guys could have fixed things. And maybe all the hot air that I've blown onto this podcast and post-game show would come true, and you could actually see it, Artie, that this should have been done years ago. But now we don't get a sample size of that. If things go the right way, we may be able to see a turning point next season with some of these moves or players that come in under new coaching actually flourish. Now, I'll be damned if I go to one Angel fucking game next year and Sereno and Reed are still in this roster. I'm going to fucking boycott the games. Nothing has changed, dude. Any other team makes a fucking move, we stand pat. We stand pat. And again, Perry had I was like, we had that vote for Perry shirt that Randy came up with. We had all these type of things talking about how Perry, trusting Perry. And I'm for it. Again, when it comes to pitching, I'm not going to question what he knows, except for that, the Davidson trade. I didn't like that one at all. The salary dump, I get it. But when it comes to hitting, Perry has not pulled a trigger to help this team at all. And all he's done is gotten retreads from last year. He's they were on the roster last year, let's bring them back. And then you DFA McKinnon, which still has my head spinning. You send down Stefanik, who it still has my head spinning. Two guys who are young. Two guys who need the at-bats. Two guys who make contact and see pitches. You send them fucking down. You DFA one of them, and now he's playing for our rival. But, oh, God, Rojas has to be on this roster. And, oh, God, we have to have Velasquez on this roster. Squid has to be here because we dressed like him once before a road trip. What is the fucking love affair with Velasquez? I don't get it. Dude can't hit. Again, I would rather see somebody else who can produce over the batting average of 240 at least and make an error every now and then than some guy who is a piece of shit in the box, refuses to learn how to hit, will not drop a bunt, and just has an I don't care, let me shake my head, let me roll off the freaking the batter's box and not care when I strike out on 3 pitches. That's what he does. Plays with his mouthpiece, moves his head like freaking that one singer with the glasses who couldn't see. God, I'm blank. Stevie Wonder. He does a Stevie Wonder outside the box. Like, oh, well, I don't care. You're not getting paid a fucking $1 million, by the way. You're a shitty player that should not even be on a goddamn traveling league at this point. I had my struggles on a traveling league and it hit way better than you. I was in rookie ball out of high school for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and I made better contact than you. So, fuck you, Velasquez. Fuck you. I am tired of your shit. You are them now. I used to hate Rob Quinlan back in the day. Some of you liked him. I felt that he stole at bats from players. I really did. They moved him all over the place. He was versatile. Rex Hudler liked him. I hated him. He stole at bats from other players that were far better than he was. God bless him for staying in the league and playing with the Angels. I just thought he was a flat-ass player. He had one good year, and we kept using him. He was in love with Scioscia loved him. I couldn't stand him after a while. But I would take 9 Rob Quinlans at this point over 1 Velasquez. I can't stand Velasquez. He's the most useless hitter I have ever seen. We could have literally took Syndergaard. We could have literally took Lorenzen injured right now and put him in the batter's box, and he would make more contact than that piece of shit. I can't stand him. I want to make a jersey with a number 4 and says piece of shit on the back of the jersey, on the name. Because that's what he is. And I want him to autograph it. Listen, I'm not tearing the guy down. I don't know him from anybody. I'm not taking personal attacks on the guy. Whoever he could be the greatest thing, sliced bread, nicest guy, whatever like that. We judge players by your performance. So as far as your performance is concerned, you're a piece of shit. But again, it's not a personal attack. We're talking sports and stats. And if you're out there causing my team losses night in and night out, how many games have we seen this guy strike out with to end the game? Oh, wait, because it's more than a baker's dozen. He fucking sucks. And then the problem is we carry too many pitchers on this roster, and we have like 3 or 4 bench spots. And then you look on the bench, and there's nobody there. There's literally nobody there. I mean, what are you going to bring up Suzuki? Ooh, that's going to scare the opponent. I mean, we got nobody. Nobody in the bench. That's all Perry. And then you look at the AAA roster, and there's only like a couple guys and a bunch of retreads that we could possibly bring up at this point. You got Wallach, you got Captain Jack. That's about it that are ready. Trash Pandas, though, are putting together a good squad. Sixers are putting together a good squad, but they're still a year or 2 away. You can't pluck those guys right now. So what's the overall follow through for the future for this team? You've already blown through the draft. You got a few guys coming through the pipeline that can be added to AA, AAA later. But they got to hit rookie ball. They got to hit, come on, Jeremiah Jones is not better than freaking Velasquez. We've been hearing about Jeremiah Jones for like 3-4 years now. How come we haven't given this guy a shot? If he's not up here in September, I'm going to be heated. And I mean heated. There's no reason why Jeremiah Jones shouldn't get an opportunity over Velasquez. Hell, right now, my age 41, I deserve a shot up there than Velasquez. I could fucking lay a bunt down. And I'm not going to brag. Some people are like, hey, you can't hit 90, 100 mile per hour pitch. Look, I can still hit 80 mile per hour pitches in the freaking batting cages. The Angels don't take batting practice. They take batting cages. So what's the fucking difference? I can lay down a fucking bunt. I don't think that asshole can. In fact, I know he can't. And when he does, even the announcer's like, hey, he got on base. We shouldn't be surprised the batter gets on base. That should tell you something how bad he sucks. Velasquez isn't the problem. He's part of the problem. This team has no heart, no will, and no talent. Hitting. We have talent. We have heart. We have the ability to try, because don't get me started on the pitching. The pitching has not been the problem. Today pissed me off because Andrew Wentz struck out Winker, and he should have been pumped. He should have showed emotion. And I like what Wentz brings to the bullpen, but I hate his mentality. I hate what he feels is right and wrong. Because in that fight that they had with Seattle, his dumbass laid down like nothing. He bent over right in front of Winker and said, you know what? I'm sorry. They told me to throw at you. Right there. Nah, you know what? As much talent as you got, Wentz, I would have kicked him off the team right then and there. You don't do that bullshit. That's unwritten rules. You stand up for what your manager told you to do, right or wrong. You play it out. You own up to it. Hell, you throw a fucking punch. He walked away like a little bitch, just like freaking Stassi. That's the kind of attitude on this team that doesn't win games. You remember all those fights with the Cincinnati Reds and Pittsburgh Pirates and those guys throwing down and they're just, they're going wild and out? That's the kind of like camaraderie that brings teams together. Our team was weak. We helped Seattle get on a 14-game winning streak. So it just boggles my mind how many things as we go along this season are now tripping this franchise into a deeper hole game after game after game. And you could see it. You could honestly see it. What's wrong with this team? The coaching staff, the hitting staff, or actually the coach, which is Nevin, who's never put his own stamp on this team. The hitting instructors, obviously, and the general manager for not doing his homework and getting any kind of hitting to back up. Look, and the last thing I'll say before I get into the comments, it's not like this was breaking news that the Angels suffer injuries. It's not like this was something like, oh, wow, you know what? We have injuries for the first time in a long time. No, injuries have been happening to this team over and over. Rendon hasn't just come up there and had an injury. This is a third straight year. 2 prior to this. Why not? Why didn't you have a backup plan for Rendon? There's plenty of, and it's so funny to see other teams plucking players from free agency or plucking players from lower teams, like I was saying earlier, like you're losing teams, to help them fill voids on the bench or to have a safety net in case of an injury. Why is it I can look to other franchises and see the fact that they have different kind of, they have better players and better options than we do off the bench, and they have worse records because they actually feel the voids. They actually understand that things happen during the season. We don't. You went with retreads, Perry, and bad ones at that. You're not even getting retreads who've been in the league and put up big numbers over the years. So, and there's a reason why you designate for an assignment certain players and they're able to come right back to you. There's a reason for that. So you get Jose Rojas. Nobody wanted him. That should tell you something. Goose. No, that should tell you something. All these guys that you let go, you should have moved on from, just like you did Upton. You had the balls to do that. But, oh, God, no, you can't. You can't get rid of these other players. Yeah, you can't do that. Nope. So it just goes to show you that we don't have the type of willpower, the type of players to fill the void. Now, James checks in when Matt Duffy was a replacement for Rendon, but Duffy gets hurt. Duffy was a nice player, but he wasn't going to hit you anything special. I'm not looking for a guy to crush a lot of home runs. God forbid I want that on this team. We have enough swinging for the fences bullshit. But we could have used someone with an average, someone who could have played the part, played good defense. We didn't need the best players. But this is just my feeling when it comes to this team. That Perry's just not done what he should have done to strengthen this team. It's just been the same bullshit, and this is why we're in the place we're in. That was a long-winded monologue, but I had to get some shit off my chest right here. Home plate umpire squeezed Davidson today. Dan Rio says Davidson sucks. EQ says bring back Thor. Thank goodness Fletch is back. Bobby V said on TV those walks shouldn't have happened. Put the runs on the umpire, not the pitcher. Winker got out of the rye bread and mustard today. Leaf says he's enjoying Seattle's win. We can't blame the umpires for a loss. Martin says I agree. I'm putting this one on the freaking hitting. Guess I will support the Angels forever, but for the rest of the season, I'm hoping on this Padres bandwagon. I'm hopping on the Padres bandwagon to beat the Doyers, and even that didn't happen the last couple of nights. The Doyers have bent over the Padres the last couple of days. What up, Todd? Taking a break from dirt biking right now. It seems like a lot more fun than watching baseball. Detmers is an all-star next season, Ryan Austin says. I agree. Rojas, how does he even get in a bat? Same with Squiddy Poo. I knew this was going to happen, Oscar said. Wanker for Mountain Dew King. Wanker was the beneficiary of some bad umpiring right now for Grillmaster. Give the Stamos Award to the home plate umpire. He does his job for the Grand Slam. Doesn't happen. Stamos, not Stamps. Win one, lose one, 23. That's the Halo way right now, Nate says. Exactly. Reed is writing down with what Pokemons he has to collect. Yeah, by now he should have gotten most of them. Abraham says when Tatis is back, the Padres, I'm hopping on the bandwagon. They should beat the Dodgers. Hopefully, they get their mojo back, because right now against the Dodgers, they've been their bitch right now. I'm not a fan of Perry, but all these trades are terrible, Martin says. Retreads overload, James says. Not a fan of Perry with his trades are crap. Perry needs to get some coaches and get rid of Squid. I'm with you. What time does the game start tomorrow night? I think that's another 6:40 start. Martin says, I'm with you, Todd. Get some friggin' runs on the board. Courtney says, hitting wins you games, runs wins games. Exactly. You can't win games if you're not scoring. Angels need to sweep the Oakland Athletics in Oakland. They're going to probably catch them at sometimes. See, Abraham says the only batting practice they take is MLB The Show saying, yeah, I think we'll be fine. No, they're not fucking going to be okay. Let's see. Also, happy birthday, Mike Trout. Anthony Gonzalez says, sick of watching innings, the last 3 minutes, then taking back, then watching the opposition at bat for 15 minutes or something. Yeah, some of our innings, Martin, some of our innings today went less than the commercial breaks. There was 2 innings that went by like this. And then, again, the Mariners are up there taking pitches, extending innings. Let's see. Grillmaster just wants to know, or wants to let everyone know he's with his girlfriend. EQ says he doesn't care. Also, let's take a toaster into the bathtub. Let's see. Paul Sereno's nachos right there. He's telling him to lick that. Let's see. Also, McKinnon is on the Dodgers or the Astros. No, McKinnon is on the A's right now. Nick brings that back right there. Quinlan power, James says. Yeah, Quinlan had no power. Brandon Wood got more hits than Velasquez. He did, Nick, and was DFA'd faster than Velasquez. Performance pays, Squid pays, checks for his batting. He drops in IQs, or he has low IQ as far as hitting. Now, again, no one's talking about his defense, but I don't want him out there even for defense. I get pissed every time he's announced. James says, Angels may be the worst organization in pro sports. Washington NFL team is up there too. Also, let's see. Wentz should have said, I nailed you, Wanker. You did. You're damn right I did. And what are you going to make of it? And let's and not back down. Let's go. And that's the thing, Martin. He should have had that killer instinct. You would like that from your players, but he didn't. And again, he looked like a little bitch. Also, if Pujols falls one home run short of 700, our clowns will give him $1 million contract so he can have one more season to get that one more home run. You know, it's pretty crazy, Martin. I don't know what number of home runs he's up to right now, but if he doesn't hit 700 home runs, that would be pretty fucking funny. That would be funny because I think he had like 6 or 7 only so far this season. He's clearly over the hill right now. Don't you plan on calling in Leaf right there? The number is open if you guys want to call in. There's not too many people on today, and I don't blame you. I wasn't going to stay on too long anyway. I honestly make my call fairly short but simple today. If you want to call in now, right now. I think Squid is spelled Mendoza. Here we go with the phone call. It's the Halo Hawk line.
Hey, Todd.
What is up?
I'm going to make my call very short, but, straight to the point. You know, just watching today, and it's like, as you were talking about, Velasquez not getting DFA'd and this and that, and it's like, dude, how are you going to keep a guy, okay, yeah, it was cool in the early season because we know we wanted to see how he would do. We give everyone a new chance. We're basically open arms to every new guy that comes up. And we're like, okay, he has a good glove, and then he started getting, he got a couple home runs, 2 home runs, but then it's it continues. It's a pattern. You're gonna keep striking out. It's like what is he doing that keeps him up here, that doesn't get him sent down? What is Stefanik, McKinnon not doing or didn't do that got them sent down?
Yeah, that's why I don't understand. Did they start a fight in the locker room? Did they say something racist? Because McKinnon got dropped quicker than I've ever seen. I don't understand his. From what I knew, McKinnon still had an option or 2 left, and he was DFA'd, and that never happens. Usually they'll use their options, and they DFA'd him super quick. And Oakland saw it and was like, "Hey, we'll take him." And you watch, he'll play in September. He'll play a lot of baseball. Jeremiah Jackson, like Alex says right now, where the hell is he? You mean to tell me you're not going to take a chance on Jeremiah Jackson, who's fast, who can hit? Oh, he's seen him in the minors. He's not tearing it up, but he's doing a decent job. Why is he not out there instead of Velasquez? Like you said, we've seen enough of Velasquez. What is the deal with that?
Yeah, we have. It's we know what he's up to now. He's basically going to be on the verge of hitting 90, not even over 100. It's why are you going to keep a guy that's hurting this team? He's a huge problem in this lack of hitting. We only have probably 3 good solid hitters with Sierra and Rengifo and Fletcher right now, and it's just what more do we need? What more needs to open up in these hitting coaches? You guys, does the baseball world not see what's going on here? You can tell, Connie's probably not doing this, Trout's this, Ward and Walsh are probably just having a bad year, but nobody talks about behind the scenes. The reason they're struggling all comes from one simple little step, and it's the hitting coaches, the motivation that they don't have, and it's something needs to change here, or it's basically going to be a shit show for the rest of the year, for the rest of our lives, basically.
I agree. I mean, I want to get somebody like Sam Blum to continue to attack the when he goes and they do the post games, continue because you have on-field access. If this team is in San Francisco, if they're in Oakland, hell, if they're in Seattle, if they're in any of these other cities that care about baseball and have responsible reporters who will call these guys out, these guys wouldn't have a job. And you're saying, yeah. How is it that we can see it as fans, yet nobody else outside of us either cares to report on it or they're not calling them out and they're just continue to do what they want to do.
Yeah. And you know what they do see? They do see, the Angels are on a losing streak. They only see that. I bet you if the Angels got put into the spotlight like the New York media, and this whole team would not survive. They're going to get their asses chewed out. They're going to get told what they're doing wrong. And, of course, the hitting coaches aren't going to listen. They're going to ignore it, thinking that they don't know what they're talking about, that, our MLB The Show batting practice is going to help out 20 years from now. It's going to be it's basically the metaverse of training. When in reality, this Anaheim media is probably the softest in baseball right now. Like they only cover the small details, and you guys have like Sam Blum, who is hard on the Angels because he knows the truth. Like he knows what little things are causing this team to fall apart, basically.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like good point. Like if you look at the LA media or the LA market, because you have to lump the Angels in there because they lump themselves in there. But you look at the most softest reporters that we have in all of sports. Like you mean to tell me the LA market can't go after their teams? They ridicule the Clippers even. They ridicule the Lakers, obviously. The Dodgers are held to a high standards. You know, this shit would not happen if this was a true LA team. If the Angels were playing in Long Beach right now, they'd be getting roasted right now. And instead, it's just like, oh, the Angels are having a bad season. You know, this happened to them. They hit 7 home runs and lost. They're not like huh?
I was like, oh boy, if they were in Long Beach or if they stayed here for the next year, it's gonna be there goes Rendon. It's okay, maybe he'll come back next year and have his revenge season. Well, let's pay the guy another extra like $200 million. You know, might as well.
Yeah, and I've seen the LA market attack Kershaw during the regular season when he loses a game 4-2 or 4-3. It's like, dude, okay, so he gave up 4 runs. He's not freaking, Nolan Ryan every night. Sandy Koufax. He's going to have games where he struggles. Now, I get it when they kill him in the postseason because the national media will kill him. But when he's in the regular season, Dodger fans are so spoiled and the media is so spoiled, they'll go after him or say, hey, Walker Buehler had a terrible game today. He surrendered 3 runs on 9 hits. 3 runs on 9 hits? That's okay. That's good baseball. But
yeah.
Down here in Anaheim, we'll hold our pitchers to that standard. But our hitters is like, nah, you're good. You're good. You're all right.
Yeah.
Like the LA media is killing.
You struck out 7 times. Oh, that's fine. It's okay. You'll have a good day.
Yeah,
tomorrow, maybe.
Exactly. Like you look at the LA media right now. They're crushing high-ass Bellinger. They're crushing Muncy, even though he hit a home run the other night. But those guys are all batting under 200, and they're freaking grilling them, and rightfully so. They deserve to be grilled. But here it's like, oh, we struck out 10 more times. Well, at least we didn't struck out 15. Like because they struck out double digit again today. So,
and it's like, oh, they didn't break the franchise record for most strikeouts in a game.
Yeah, and it's like it just turned the page. It's okay. We're the Angels. Whatever.
Yep. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe next year.
Yeah, there's no pressure on this franchise at all. None. I mean, you could. And here's the thing that bothers me too: the Chargers literally came up here, and yes, they have hardly any fans. I'm gonna be honest as possible. Even the Rams have hardly any fans. Like any real fans. Every team that comes in there, I don't give it. If you have to say whose house is it every time you get a first down, it's not your house. It's the opponent's until you change it. And you got to stop saying that because that's bullshit anyway. But anyway, those teams came up here and the media just flocked on them right away. And they're criticizing what the Chargers did. They forced the Chargers to make a coaching change because they weren't satisfied with them. And they were harder on them than the San Diego media. And then the freaking Rams come over here. And they're actually harder on the Rams as well. And that's good. You need to have a media on top of your organization to keep the organization honest, to not just go out there for a money grab, to go out there and freaking push to win and be better and to be competitive. And that doesn't happen here in this market at all.
And it doesn't. It's basically a Mickey Mouse clubhouse up here. Our mascot's getting Mickey Moniac at this point.
and you know what? I wish we had Mickey Mouse back there because we'd actually have the money behind us. You know what I mean? And we'd actually have the right – because, again, I look back at, damn, we dropped the ball. We had a good organization behind us, and we let it go.
Yeah, we did.
So, but good call, my man. This is Abraham, right?
All right. Yep.
All right, Abraham. Well, you have a good rest of your day, man. I'm maybe take 1 or 2 more calls because I'm just really frustrated right now.
Yeah, I'm going to probably tune into that Padres game right now just to see how they do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping those guys click right now because I don't want to see them suck with that big trade. I really want to see the Padres take out the Dodgers. I'm so tired of them.
Yeah, and if they do end up clicking, like that might open the eyes to Angels fans. You know, like the Nationals gave away their biggest player. Maybe that's what we got to do. You know.
Exactly. All right, brother. Have a good one, man.
All right. You too.
Later. This is a Halo honk line. Oh, I think you missed it. Call back, Leaf. I think that was you. 206, unless we have another one right there. Chewing Record says, please sell the team to an owner that cares for this team. Exactly. Angels are not an LA team. They're Anaheim. They are. But we need responsibility in Anaheim. We need accountability in Anaheim, Chewing Records. I'm not disagreeing with you. I wish they were the Anaheim Angels. I wish they were the California Angels. Just anything but Los Angeles.
Hello.
It's the Halo honk line. Hello?
It's Leif.
What's up, Leaf? Are you honking your honk right now or what?
Man.
Are
Doing
you-
good.
Are you honking your Mariner honk right now? You got the split up there.
I'm gonna make sure not to go overboard. I'm definitely very optimistic about this team, but I'm not gonna we're gonna make a run to the World Series. Like, no. I'm not gonna go overboard, but I am happy with what the team is doing right now. So.
Well, you guys need Rodriguez back, and I think a good start for you guys this season, or a good accomplishment, would just be breaking that streak and getting in the postseason.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, you got a lot to I mean, obviously DePoto thinks you guys can go further. You may be able to. I don't know. I mean, anything can happen once you get to the postseason. But I think for the Mariners' sake, break that streak, get some confidence for next year. You're going to attract some more free agents. And because right now, I mean, pitching wins, dude, and I love what you guys did with the trades.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think in the trade deadline video that Tree had said, it's like he had touched on like the three-headed monster of Gilbert, Ray, and Castillo.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a nasty trio right there.
It is. See, the only thing that scares me is are the Mariners going to show up like inept like the Angels? Or are they going to get production from Crawford, Swinky, and freaking Rodriguez when they need it? Because those are, I think, three big at-bats. And then they need to get some of these other guys like Raleigh to be more consistent. If they could do that, they could actually turn some heads in the postseason. But I think you guys will show up pitching. It's just the hitting, though, that scares me. I don't know if you guys got what it takes to get it going. Unless you guys have a really good September and get hot. We'll see. Yeah. But, obviously you guys
and the good news.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. And the good news is that we don't play Houston in either August or September. And they've kind of run our show.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, that's going to be the thing. It's going to be matchups too, man. Who are the Mariners going to match up with? Obviously, if you guys match up with the Yankees, it's going to be troubling. But again, pitching always beats good hitting. And but the only thing that scares me about the Yankees this year is they can actually get the base hits. They're not all swinging for the fences, so they're going to be a dangerous team come postseason. And right now with the Dodgers, I'm the only reason why I bring them up is because I kind of like put them up there with the Yankees. I think they're just getting a lot of luck right now. Even though they got a lot of holes in that lineup, but they seem to be getting all the fucking luck right now. So I think at some point their luck's going to run out.
Yeah, I mean, it usually does in the postseason. But I mean, the Dodgers fans will say that one time, but let's be real. That bubble will run just like the Lakers. It probably doesn't count.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this, Leaf, though, I would think the Mariners should have took 3 out of 4 from us. We should have won 3 out of 4.
Yeah, they should.
And it's too close of a series. Like, you guys should have blown us out, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm very surprised when this team barely loses because I don't see the talent right now performing. I don't see the culture. At least you guys got some rallying cries. You got your own thing there. You got camaraderie after you guys win. Your fan base is back. I mean, you guys were averaging almost 40,000 the entire weekend. So, the buzz is there, dude.
Yeah. They know what the saying is now up here. Good vibes only.
Yeah. Wait, if you guys can just get there, I mean, they have a chance, but I don't see them doing much in the postseason. But just they could shock or win a game or two. I don't think they can a series, but then again, stranger things have fucking happened. So I don't know, man. But
Yeah.
at least
I
you
think
got.
for me,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah. For me, it's kind of similar with what I kind of look at the Seahawks, but at least not for this year.
Mhm.
This upcoming season. It's like my goal for them is to make the playoffs. As for what they'll do in the playoffs, we'll see what happens. My
Yeah.
goal right now is for them to make the playoffs. I don't know really what is going to happen after that, but just get there to begin with. Then we'll talk bigger aspirations.
Yeah, for me, being a Seahawks fan and Sonics fan, I know how that city, loved the Mariners back in the day. I've always hated the Mariners because I've been an Angel fan first before those Seattle teams. But, I know that fan base, and they're dying for some good baseball up there. And even though it's not the most exciting because they're not scoring that much, they're winning or at least in the hunt. And that's all that Mariner fans want, is to be there at the end of the season and be relevant.
Yes.
So the fact that you guys can get in the postseason, there's no doubt that place is going to be a buzz. That city is going to be a buzz. And maybe it'll take away from the shitty start that Seahawks will probably have, most likely.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah, this season's going to be ugly.
oh, yeah, it's going to be terrible, dude. I'm not looking
Yeah,
forward to it at all.
Yeah, this is going to be a flush it down the toilet. I mean,
Exactly.
hopefully we get like a QB next year, but
Yeah, I mean, I'll be doing a Seahawks podcast, and I'll be ripping them all year. So we'll see. I'll let you know about that. But all right, man, good call. And enjoy the Mariners baseball, man. Again, I mean, your guys are our rivals, but I give you respect up there, man. I know how the fan base is. So
yeah, same here. Hope you guys need to get off the schneid at some point. Just fire Jeremy Reed and Paul Sorrento immediately. I've been saying this for the past several months.
Leaf, if that happens, that's my getting us to the playoffs. That's how I'll feel about it.
Yep.
All right, brother. Have a good one, man.
Yep. Take care.
All right, see ya. All right, that's Leaf from the Pacific Northwest right there. Let me get to a couple of these comments. Alex says they ain't beating no one. He says the Mariners. Abraham says, I think Leaf should respectfully make his own Mariners podcast so he doesn't keep coming on here. Clayton says, if you had to guess, when do you think Artie will sell the team? Clayton, if they do sell it at all, if he does get rid of this team or has to move them, it'll only be because the league forced him to. This team has made him a billionaire. And I just don't think that he's in any kind of rush to sell this team. Think about it. He spent, I believe, under $300 million or less to purchase this franchise from Disney. He purchased the whole goddamn thing. He's trying to wrap up a stadium deal, which got him in trouble with Anaheim City, allegedly. And you look at how much this franchise is now worth. And I think Fernando brought it up on our podcast. It's almost worth $2 billion. So you do the math. I mean, he went from buying this an initial investment of just under $300 million for this franchise, maybe less. I think it was something like 158 or 200 million or less. Yeah, it's around there. To what it is worth now, come on, he came out like roses. So there's no way, and these TV contracts just keep getting bigger. The streaming contracts in the future, when cable loses the MLB network or the MLB package, just like Sunday Ticket's going to be gone after this year, and it's going to a streaming service for billions upon billions of dollars, baseball is going to be the same thing. It's going to go for billions upon billions of dollars, and that trickles down to all the owners. So again, if you don't have a salary cap where you can't go over that, and you don't have a floor where you have to hit that, you're still going to see your Pittsburgh Pirates, and they're still going to be making millions upon millions of dollars every year and not give a shit about winning. Your Arizona Diamondbacks, your Cincinnati Reds, who will say we can't compete, yet the owners keep getting richer every year. That's the problem with baseball. It takes an owner to get fed up with losing at some point and actually investing in the product for it to win. Artie is invested, I think, over $1 billion, what Fernando said, in bad contracts. So there is owners that will spend money like Artie does. No one's ever said he doesn't spend money. It's just he spends money the wrong way. And that's why the Angels continue to lose. If he spent it the right way and left it up to his people that he put in charge, or he hired the right people to use his money to do what's right, you would have a franchise like the Atlanta Braves. You would have a franchise like the Toronto Blue Jays. You'd have a winning culture here. But the fact that he doesn't do that is what you got on the field and what you got surrounding in the front office. That's what happens. So let's see. Matthew Mendoza says, I wish the Angels had an owner like the Mets. They have changed drastically and are, in my opinion, the best team in the NL. With injuries, they were set back a little bit, Matthew. But I'd have to agree with you. Atlanta's right there with them, though. And they're not scared of New York. They've had a few hiccups. They got really close to New York. But when you can run out that rotation and you can run out that bullpen, especially with Diaz at the end, and that lineup with Lindor and several other guys, McEwing, guys who are basically anti-New York Yankees. They're not your sexy power hitters, but they're the hitters that make contact, high on base percentage, work walks, get singles, doubles, and they're proven. They're really good. So they're going to be a fun team to watch in that National League. I totally agree with you, Matthew. I think they're going to be a really, really good team come postseason and really hard out. They could represent the National League. I could see a team easily beating the Dodgers like that. You know, because unless the Padres man up at some point, they're going to bend over for the Dodgers if they face them. They're just going to bend over like nothing. Take it no loop. But I think New York, Atlanta, those teams could beat the hell out of the Dodgers if they really try. And they really come out there because those teams I don't think are scared of the Dodgers. I don't think there's unless you're in their division, you're not scared of the Dodgers. You could see over the years, whenever the Dodgers travel to the Central or the East, they usually get their asses kicked. But when they play the West just rolls over. Almost every year except last year, the Giants were the only team to actually stand up for them against them, and they still bent over for them in the postseason. I mean, the Dodgers have just had a cakewalk for years. Jacob says Seattle is a garbage city. They do have a lot of homeless up there. Abraham says, well, would be a shame if Artie was thrown off his bike on his way to Angel Stadium if he still rode his bike. The day Soriano and Reed are fired, I'm on the Angels honk. You know what? I would be too. I'm telling you, when they get rid of those guys completely, again, that's like us making the postseason. Let's see, DFA EQ. That's a nice return. Jacob says, exactly, for your money put in. Clayton says, Jeremy Reed and Paul Sorrento definitely need to be fired. What's really critical is that Perry hired good replacements, or that he does. Exactly. Look, right away, Clayton, if he hires guys that believe in live batting practice and drills, like that's what I'm saying. Like, it wouldn't have been a bad move to have Bobby Valentine move down after Madden got fired. Because Bobby Valentine and other coaches that are old school, like I said the other night, you need a coach and a manager that's going to have a gut feeling and use it, and you need one that's going to use the analytics, and you need a disciplinarian and someone that's going to be like, hey, you're not hitting your weight, you ride the fucking pine. You earn your way back into the starting lineup. We're not giving you the squid treatment. Just because you can play defense doesn't mean you can hit. So you have to do both. And if you can't do both, sit your ass on the bench, and if you can't come off the bench when we ask you to and perform, then we send you down, we DFA you. It's time to have some balls. And we don't have a manager with the balls. We don't have a GM with balls apparently either. But until those things happen, the best thing they could do, Clayton, is come up with someone that's going to make the players accountable. When I would go to games early, I love seeing the pitchers running the track, running with their trainers. I see Ohtani doing that. And I saw like guys like Syndergaard and Sandoval. I didn't see the other guys doing that. And when they had batting practice, guys shagging balls, figuring out where the shadows are going to be during the game, working on grounders, bunting in the batting practice with live BP. We don't see that no more. You can't get that in the fucking cage. I don't know where that mentality came from. I don't know why it started. But since Sosha left, that's been the mentality of Ausmus, and it was the mentality of Madden. We'd smoking our way out of ball games. There's a reason why he never had a winning season here. EQ says, challenge Grillmaster to batting cages and batting practice, or he says he challenges. We'll have to see that. That'd be interesting. I don't think Grill could hit a baseball off the tee, Jacob said. Chewy Record says, Angels will pick number 9 in next year's draft. Number 9. Angels got the number 9 pick next year. Yeah, well, it could go lower this year. Jacadis says, how do you start off the month and turn into such shit so quickly? You just continue to do what you're doing and don't change anything. That's how. Rocket City Trash Pandas won again. Yeah, they look much better. Clayton says, yes, Angels need discipline and better coaching. It pissed me off seeing Marsh begging for help and swing when he got to Philly. And that should tell you something. That should tell you something. That should tell you that we have a serious, serious problem here. We're probably guys were too scared to speak up. And maybe that's why McKinnon got let go. Maybe he spoke up and said, enough of this bullshit. We should be doing this, this, and that. And everyone's like, but no one else wanted to speak up. So the fact that if that report is true and Marsh went to the Phillies instructor, who is a really good instructor over there in Philly, and right away he's like, hey, come with me, son. And he starts to work on his tweaking of the stance, him swinging too violently. And there's a reason why Marsh will be much better in Philly. I guarantee it. And any other player that leaves this organization will go on to flourish anywhere else until these coaches are fired. I'm watching the Ups deliver boys versus the Smurfs right now. Smurfs are better baseball team. Absolutely, Jacob. Absolutely. And I hate saying it. I really, really hate it. But you can go up and down that coaching staff. And you could point to guys who are responsible, who are disciplinarians, who, yeah, there's several guys sucking right now for the Dodgers hitting-wise. Is that on the hitting instructors? I don't know. I don't follow the Dodgers enough to know why a guy like Taylor, why a guy like Turner, why a guy like Muncy, why a guy like Bellinger, why I think there's a couple other hitters that aren't even hitting their weight, why they're sucking. I don't know if it's the hitting instructor. I just know that they have good scouting. Dave Roberts is a winning manager whether you like him or not. Mark Pryor is a really good pitching instructor. He's gotten guys to 12-1 records who were nobodies on other teams. He's gotten the best out of the rotation pieces he's gotten. He continues to help them get better. I don't know about their hitting instructor. I don't know if it's their fault that they can't do it, but I just know either way, whether it's their hitting or pitching, whether it's their dumb luck or not, whether it's their sorry-ass division, they've got 74 fucking wins somehow, some way. I still think they're going to hit a fucking turn at some point and fall off in the postseason. Please, I hope it is. James says wiffle ball at the tailgate would probably help our squad too. Nice show, Todd. Thank you, Anthony Gonzalez. Abraham says, I was in the batting cages trying to work on my swing for the Sunday leagues, but I was wearing my Angels jersey and I took it off. And because I did, I remembered that the Angels don't do batting practice. Exactly. It's sad. I have never heard of any other team not taking batting practice. Like I said before the other day, only on rainouts or maybe because it rained prior did they not take batting practice. They wanted to get the game in. Or maybe it's a travel day and they've got to leave because they've got a game in the morning. They don't want to extend the players, work them. I get that. But 90% of the time during the regular season, you should be taking live batting practice, and you don't. Weird. Kel says, the reason why Show doesn't take batting practice on the field is so he doesn't wear himself out as a two-way player. Say this two-way thing is not working. Say he needs to pick up one or the other. You cannot say he doesn't work hard. Okay, Kel, but again, if the coaches tell you to do it, you should do it. You shouldn't get preferential treatment. And if you get preferential treatment, a la Mike Trout, a la Shohei Ohtani, the rest of the team sees that. So why should they fall in line when you do try to put down the rules? Now, I get it, Kel. If he's pitching and hitting on the same day, he shouldn't take batting practice. I agree with you there. But if he's only a hitter for that day, he should be out there like every other player. No exceptions. No exceptions. And if he's not, then he's not playing. Where else can you just get whatever the fuck you want? It's not right. Kel, look at if he did that in Japan. Could he get away with that? I don't think so. Japanese league is far stricter on their players. And over there, it's an honor rule. They honored the rules of baseball. And they also, it's an honor to play. It's a respect thing to the manager. So if the manager over there in Japan is giving him preferential treatment, then he's getting preferential treatment. But the last I checked, the Japanese culture of playing baseball, they honor and respect the game a lot more than what the American players do. And I guarantee you he was taking live BP over there. But he knows he can get preferential treatment here, and the media is not going to give a shit what he does. So as long as they can take video and record him and take pictures and interview him through his interpreter or not, sure, he can do whatever the hell he wants. And I think that's a bad example to the players on this team. Let's see, James looks like Perry. Nate says the pitching coach is good for what team? Oh, for the Dodgers. Jacob says. Randy says hello, cutie. Hire Mark Pryor as Angels manager. He might actually do that. What's batting practice? Randy says. Agree, Todd. Perfect comment right there. I think he went back to Japan during free agency and be fucking president in that country. You know what? I would agree, because you remember who was the boxer? God, what is his name? The one, Pacquiao. Pacquiao went back, and I think he could have been the president of the Philippines, or he could have ran for government. That's how popular he is over there. So that's a good comment. By the way, sick ass new merch hitting the store. I have a new collection of fucking sick stuff on Redbubble. Yes, check out Randy's stuff. If Ohtani says no to batting practice, send him packing. And well, I don't know about sending packing, but you definitely send him to the Pine. Star or not, gotta hold yourself accountable to be able to find ways to help this team win. It starts in the cages and the batting practice. And this is the thing too. And I hate comparing the sports. Randy says, let's see, they will never tell superstars anything. Randy says, as far as this one, Astros being banging trash can in their batting practice and games. Yes, at least they're utilizing it. But the last thing I'll say, and I hate, bringing up football, but I think that's why you see so much discipline in the NFL. And because two reasons. First off, you're held to a contract that if you don't perform, see ya. We've seen some really good star athletes in the NFL get cut, get traded, get waived. And it's because they have that hard cap. Yes, players can make money over there, but for the most part, you have to earn your contract. In baseball, you could do an Anthony Rendon and get $250 million and could be hurt 3 years in a row and still saying that you're worth every penny and still say give you a chance. Whereas if this was the NFL, see ya. We'll eat a little bit of that contract. It'll hurt our cap. But you know what? You're gone. There's plenty of guys that are just ready to take your spot and do it for a third of what you're making or less. The baseball, there's too much of these guys knowing that they get guaranteed money and they don't have to perform. The guys that I've always respected in baseball are the ones that not only get the contracts, but they continue to perform. Those are the greats. Those are the guys you look back and say, yes, they earned their Hall of Fame jacket and induction. I can't stand the ones who just play for a contract year and then just get hooked up and sit back and relax. And see, in the NFL, the quarterback's the first one in, the last one out. That should be our star player too. Trout and Ohtani should be the first ones in, last ones out. You know why? They lead by example. So your lower tier players who are trying to come up, or your veterans who sign these contracts late, can say, hey, you know what? I don't care what their age is. They're superstars. They're making the big money. I want to get to their aspirations. I want to make their money, because that's what they're trying to do too. You play for the love of the game, but come on, everyone plays for money. So you play for the highest contract, and the way you get there is being the best player on the field. or being the best that you can at your position, holding down that position for long periods of time. So you have to be at your best. And if you're not at your best, you're not going to get paid, and that's on you. And there should be a penalty for that. See you later. Take your name off the locker. Bye. But right here, we encourage lack of accountability. We don't encourage leadership. So if your best players on your team are not showing up every day, then you'll see the results. There's a reason why when you saw Syndergaard being one of the first guys out there and one of the last ones to leave, and he brought that mentality of all the pitchers watching the starting pitcher warm up prior to a game. That changed the culture of the pitching. That showed results. You put in the work, you get the results. So if these guys aren't putting in the work, you're not going to get the results. So that's why we're in the conundrum that we're in. Anthony says this team is the Los Angeles Angels, not the Ohtanis. He's part of the team, not golf. He needs to step up and take batting practice. Exactly. Well said. If baseball was like football, Mike Trout and Anthony Rendon would be gone off the team. Exactly. This team would be starting over and in a new direction. Randy Yoss says that's why Anthony Rendon will eventually be nothing but a fart in the wind in 20 years. You'll hardly remember his time here other than the injuries. Just sort of like Mo Vaughn, who, unfortunately, if you look at Mo Vaughn's career here, his short, I think 2 or 3 seasons he had in Anaheim, he was productive 2 of them. You know, the first year he tore his ACL on the steps, but I think the next 2 years he had like something like 42 home runs. I mean, he put in Boston numbers here a couple years. He wasn't that bad of a hitter. You know, but we traded him off and, you know, his career was done after that. But it's sad when I can go back to Mo Vaughn and be like he's already done more than what Rendon has done here his entire time. That's the sad thing. Let's see. Abraham checks in with, when you're a part of this team, especially at the level that you play with heart and you play because you're given a chance to help this team not be lazy. That's the mentality that you need. Anthony says, if anyone should take batting practice, Trout and Ohtani, to show the other players how it's done. If they won't do it, then other players won't do it either or follow. Totally agree. Angels need a new manager as soon as possible, Chewing Record says absolutely. I'll be surprised if we even get one fully healthy, productive year out of Rendon. And I'm kind of with you on that one. And it's sad to see the amount of money put into this guy, to see that how much he was talked up and how good he should have been and where he's at right now. No batting practices. This is why Trout is getting hurt and Ohtani keeps popping up and striking out and not going the other way. I mean, I'm sure you guys have said it. The last thing I'm going to say is when Walsh got that bunt hit the other night, Patrick O'Neill was busting a fucking nut on live television. He was just blowing his load all over the television monitor. And he's like, oh, that's a great hit. Oh, my God, what a great mentality right there to take what they're giving you. We've been saying that all goddamn year. Literally, the third baseman was standing on second base. It was the biggest shift I've ever seen. And you can't hit the other way. They're daring you to hit the other way. They're like, come on, dude. And the pitchers are still throwing to Walsh's hot zone to where if he would swing and make contact, he can hit the ball to left field. They're throwing it on the outside corner. Go the other way every time. You got it. He refused to do it. But the one time he lays down a bunt, they're blowing a load like he does it all the time. Or like that's the greatest thing. It just blows my mind how they can continue to just make excuses for this franchise and for these players. I just don't understand. So, with that being said, I'll read these last couple. I know I said I would read the last couple. I'm going to read the last couple. I'm going to get out of here. Trout and Ohtani were taken into this team for a reason, because they have the talent, because at this point I won't believe it until they take the role of veterans and play with a goal of motivation. Abraham's confused on how they're given such a superstar mentality when they're not acting like it. So I'm totally right there. Angels have a history of signing bust contracts. Yes, they do. But more over in the Artie Moreno than any, even the Cowboy wasn't making moves like this. The chant at next game should be no bats for Squid, no bat for Squid. I agree. I bet you Gooby just cringes every time that Patrick says a bloop and a blast, like Gooby knows what they need to do, bunts, singles, and eventually doubles. He wants his team to play small ball. Exactly. Guys turn into bust when they get here. Exactly, Jacob. And that's the problem. They don't do their freaking homework, especially when they get these guys. Thank you, everybody, for the comments and everything. I'm going to dip out of here. It's been fun. Been a long show. I thought it was going to be a short one because we didn't really have the kind of people that we usually do on here. But, hey, you know what? You guys made it a hell of a show, and I appreciate the phone calls. I appreciate all the messages in here. Good comments as usual. And, we'll get back into some more Angels baseball tomorrow night as the Suck Fest continues now, heading on into Oakland. So you guys and gals have a really good rest of your weekend.